Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to highlight 10 awesome Steam game deals as a part of the winter sale. Now, I am not going to restrict myself to any sort of under, whatever, $20, $10, $5 or anything like that. These are more expensive games. And what did I say earlier about buying more expensive games as a part of the Steam sale? I generally wouldn't recommend it because I know how some of you guys are with your backlogs, and you're just gonna buy a game that's like 30 bucks. It's gonna chill in your backlog for 6 years, and by the time 6 years go by and you actually want to play the game will be readily available for like 10 bucks. Obviously, 6 years is a little bit of a stretch, but you get my point and what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, if you buy any of these games, please play them or have the intention to play them as soon as possible so you get the most value out of it. Even if you wait 3 to 6 months, every single one of these games is going to go on sale again in 3 to 6 months, and quite possibly it'll be even cheaper then. So with that being said, some good deals, and with the more expensive games, do take advantage of Steam refunds. If the game is not performing to the caliber that you want, or you just don't like it that much after playing it for 90 minutes, refund that sucker and then buy something else. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Let's kick things off with the Resident Evil 4 Remake, 50% off for $29.99, one of my favorite games of the year. I would say it's in the mix for my game of the year. It maybe loses some points on just being a remake, but man, the game was effing awesome. I mean, you take Resident Evil 4, one of the greatest games of all time, you remake it in 2023, oh, would you look at that, you got one of the greatest games of all time again! And this remake is so well done by the same team that did the excellent RE2 remake. Just top to bottom, a very, very good game. Obviously, it's Resident Evil, so it's not like it's super lengthy, but it's got its replayability, and like, I remember when RE4 came out, people were just talking about how they already did 5 playthroughs of the game. Alright, 5 playthroughs in the span of like 3 weeks is like wild, but like two playthroughs, I think most people can enjoy 2 back-to-back playthroughs of RE4. It's just a great time, and yeah, even more than that, more power to you. But 30 bucks for it, I think it's great. Obviously, Separate Ways is available as a separate DLC. That is $9.99. Adds about, 4 hours of content, which is quite good. Next up, you guys were tripping. Even as terrible of a PC port as it was, I gotta give one of my contenders for Game of the Year, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I mentioned 50% off for $35. Now, with this game, obviously, buy the game, play it for like 90 minutes, see how it runs, and then, you be the judge on whether or not you want to keep it. Steam refunds are goated for situations like this. Jedi Survivor is a phenomenal game. I would, however, recommend you to play Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order readily available, super cheap at $6 right now, which is a great deal for Jedi Fallen Order, even though I have my issues with that game for $6. I mean, that's highway robbery. $35 for a game that came out recently in Jedi Survivor. I mean, not recently, 8 months ago, but I've been holding up in price, and it was a $70 release. It is a larger game than Fallen Order. I would say it's better in just about every area outside of the performance. I mean, we don't gotta talk about that anymore, but really showcases more growth for Cal as a main character, and you've got some larger levels to explore, and optional content that can extend this game. Like, if you're going for the 100% run in this game, it's a sizable undertaking, like 35 hours, maybe even longer than that. Replayability with New Game Plus and some of the tweaks they add there. $35 for this, I think, is really good, and again, just see how it runs, and then you make the decision on whether or not you want to keep it. Next up, we got the Dead Space remake, 60% off for $24. This game kind of got its wind taken underneath its sails, just because, like, a month and a half after this came out, we got the remake of another phenomenal horror game. Like, I just mentioned it, the Resident Evil 4 remake, and I would say that was better than the Dead Space remake, but Dead Space remake was still awesome. It's one of the great horror games of the last, oh my god, Dead Space originally came out over 15 years ago, which is wild to think about, but this is a really good remake. Expands it a little bit. Atmosphere is still great. Visuals are awesome. And if you're into horror titles, Dead Space Remake certainly a game you'll enjoy. $24 is a great price. Just keep in mind, it is available as a part of the EA Play subscription service. Jedi Survivor will eventually get added to that service as well. So, like, if you want to go the EA Play route, it's $5 a month. That's an option as well. You can certainly complete Dead Space within a month. Next up, we got Hogwarts Legacy, 50% off for $29.99. Really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy outside of the day the game came out, and I thought it was fine. And for this price point of $30, really good pickup there. Next up, we got Cyberpunk 2077, 50% off for $29.99. Yeah, would I like it to be a little bit cheaper, it being 3 years old? Sure, but given that they have consistently updated the game and Update 2.0 really revitalized the game, and we're up to Update 2.1 at this point, I would say Cyberpunk is well worth a pickup. As an action RPG, it's a really well done one. I love this setting, and obviously all of the updates have made it even better. I didn't even think this game was as bad as everybody made it out to be back in fall of 2020. Like, I get it. It was disappointing in the sense that, you know, it promised a lot of things and maybe CDPR didn't live up to those promises. I think maybe would be putting it lightly, but after all the updates, I think you're actually getting quite a good game here. And then on top of that, Phantom Liberty has been received exceedingly well. So, yeah, for $30, not a bad buy there. Next up, we got Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, 40% off for $36. This game has been holding up in price, so, like, if you want to make the argument this is absolutely not worth $36, I could totally get that, given that it came out back in 2018, it was remastered in 2020, we finally got it on PC in August of 2022, a year and a half, almost a year and a half since that PC release, it's still $36, like, that's a little bit of a hard sell. If you've never played the game is so good. I completed it again this year prior to the release of Spider-Man 2, loved it once again. Yeah, the MJ sections are terrible, I agree with you on that, the MJ sections are god-awful, but overall, the game is still really good, and you get the City That Never Sleeps DLC content as well, so overall, just a lot of great stuff for the money, and for $36, yes, it's pricey, but I still think it's a pretty damn good deal. Next up, we got Persona 5 Royal, 50% off for $29.99. I mean, Persona 5 is considered not only one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, some people would go to the extent of calling it the greatest JRPG of all time, but it really is one of the greatest video games ever created, given that you are talking, you know, 80, 100, 120 hours of content, like in that range, maybe even more than that, depending on how much you take your time. And what Persona does better than a lot of other super expansive games is it does a good job of keeping the experience varied. When you're talking about a game that can clock in at over 100 hours, you have to do a good job keeping the player engaged, and with Persona, you have so many different activities to do that it does feel varied all throughout your however many hour playthrough, which is a difficult thing to figure out. Persona 5 Royal also includes additional content, new characters, all that good stuff for $29.99, given the amount of content you're getting. Finally, nice to see P5 available on PC. Took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but at this price point, I still think it's well worth it. Next up, another JRPG, Final Fantasy VII Remake INTERGRADE is 50% off for $34.99. A little bit of a hefty price point for a game that, you know, also took a while to come to PC, but you get FF7 Remake, the base game, you get the intermission expansion that centers Yuffie. I thought the FF7 Remake was awesome. I thought it did a great job, even though it's the introductory portion of FF7 and really scratches the surface of the overall story. It's still a fantastic time, and $35 for this is great. Unfortunately, Rebirth will be a timed exclusive on PlayStation 5. I hope we get it on PC by the end of 2024, but given that we have to wait for Final Fantasy 16 to drop on PC, I imagine that it's going to be FF16 first, and then we'll get 7 Rebirth, maybe by the end of the year. I would imagine 16 is going to be somewhere in the summer, and then, you know, Rebirth by the end of the year would be great. I know Sony had said that it's a 3-month timed exclusive. I don't think it's going to be an immediate 3-month turnaround to get it on PC, but we'll see. We've seen crazier. Next up, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is 50% off for $24.99. Thought that $50 initial price tag was egregious, but $25, definitely a little bit more palatable of a pickup. It is unfortunate that we don't have the original Uncharted trilogy on PC. I think that's one of the main reasons why this game underperformed. I mean, like, a lot of people, yes, you can jump into Uncharted 4 and still have a decent time, but literally one of the opening sections in Uncharted 4 is a callback to some of the greatest moments of Uncharted, and if you just play Uncharted 4, you're gonna be like, what is this? It's like so jarring to me that they just decided to skip out on Uncharted 1 to 3 and go with Uncharted 4. It's a little bit different with God of War because God of War 2018 was like a little bit of a fresh start for the series. Uncharted 4 is not that. So, yes, it sucks in that regard, but Uncharted 4 is still a great game. Lost Legacy standalone expansion that works pretty well, is pretty good. A shorter experience, but nonetheless, $25, my diatribe over, is good. Sony, just get Nathan Drake Collection on PC. Like, I know why they said that they didn't port that, because they thought, you know, those games wouldn't mesh well with a modern PC gaming audience. Like, bro, like, we go back and play games from 2007 to 2010 all the time. Those games would do well, but again, my diatribe over. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. Next up, and lastly, NieR Replicant is 60% off for $24. Quite liked NieR Replicant. Not as good as NieR Automata. It is a game that is connected to Automata as well, and definitely you should play it. It's the prequel to Automata, and Replicant, again, it's not as good from a gameplay standpoint, given that Platinum Games didn't work on this game, but it's still pretty damn good. Soundtrack is exceptional. Like, the soundtrack is phenomenal in this game. Visuals are pretty decent. I mean, it is a PS3 game, so keep that in mind. Obviously, this one was upgraded, but overall, the game is quite good. A good story as well. $24, think that's a good pickup. And that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available as a part of the winter sale. We are wrapping up this sale. I believe it's going to last until January the 4th. So it will be over before you know. But before you know it, the summer sale will be here. And before that, we do have some other sales to go over. And obviously, there's deals year-round on great stuff. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Links to all of these deals in the description box below. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.